Hi there. Welcome to Independent News Media, the Christmas Roundup. Who knew I'd be here? To each and every one of you there, Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a pleasant and quiet time. This is Friday 22nd, and it is now 11:32. I'm slightly behind. I'm trying new technology. This is a StreamYard platform, and hopefully we shall try this out for today and see what happens. So let's go through the news. HS2, which is the high-speed link 2 across from London to Manchester via Birmingham, as you're aware, has now been stopped. It may go as far as Birmingham. The London bits are being done. And what hasn't really been advertised or put out widely by the government is that HS2, the land itself, has been sold. The land that would have built the railway lines on has been sold at a profit. It's uncertain where this money has gone and how profit can be made and then disappear off is rather intriguing. Any comments on this will be much appreciated. I'll answer any questions and any questions raised I will answer later in the program. US cars which have voice commands which allow the car to be controlled by voice command for various things. For example, to your phone. Phone information can be downloaded to the car itself, and text messages can be read out using audio commands. And so the text messages, it's text to audio. This information is actually stored on the car itself. This has not been made widely available. The information is stored on the car even after you've disabled, disconnected your phone. And then in the future, if your car is taken, the information can be downloaded by the manufacturer or various car garages and handed over without a warrant to the police. This has happened in the US on a few occasions, and certain garages are now being sued. This is a worldwide phenomenon because there are many luxurious cars across the planet which can connect to your phone and read out your text messages. And not only that, but other information is also gleaned, for example, GPS data, where you've been throughout the time with your phone separate to the car is also downloaded. This information can also be stored in the car and downloaded from the car by plugging in a laptop. YouTube itself has done some interesting things. There's been some claims by various people, yet unsubstantiated, that YouTube is using spyware to detect ad blockers. And where they catch you, they will send you a message saying you're using an ad blocker, and this is outside the YouTube's terms of use. But if you're not a content creator, but someone who's just watching YouTube to watch other content creators, it should not be YouTube's ability to actually spot that you're watching using an ad blocker. This is a disgrace. They should not have the right to download any type of data or any sort of technical information gleaned from putting a cookie in and then looking at how your web browser behaves. This is a disgrace. Moving on to the US. The US has been financially downgraded by Moody's, and therefore the cost of borrowing will go up massively. In 2024, with them losing their AAA rating, it means the cost of borrowing will go up, which means the population who will pay back these huge sums, these loans, will be of a higher interest rate. This has not had much coverage in the news, but US citizens beware of what the government's doing on your behalf. Sticking with the United States president has enacted war powers, putting the US on a war footing, allowing to take over large parts of the economy without having named the threat or the country which is attacking the US. It is uncertain why the war footing has taken place, but conspiracy theorists think it's to take hold of the economy and manipulate the economy whilst they're moving into a election cycle and making the economy look better than what it actually is. We're now moving to Dublin in Southern Ireland. Southern Ireland rioters have been, the rioting has been taking place. Large parts of Dublin have been burnt down due to the rage of the people. The EU has taken on a large number of illegal migrants, and then they've divided them up and sent them to each EU country. And so Southern Ireland has taken more than their fair share. And the problem is that these people are not actually vetted. So you don't know if they're criminals, you don't know if they're illnesses that are contagious illnesses, plague or any other illness, heart disease, etc., who need medical assistance. They get their percentage of people. There have been a number of terrorist attacks that have taken place. One Algerian man, which caused this issue to take place, went near to a school, stabbed 3 children, one adult female and one adult male. None of them have died, but it's just the straw that brought the camel's back. And after a number of other incidents, the people gathered to protest peacefully. The police arrived and smashed in their skulls, were extremely aggressive, and that made more and more people attend, and that led to the riots. The riots ran for several days, and large parts of Dublin were burnt down. Cars, vans, police cars, the trams, and shops that are associated to the government were burnt. Now we're looking into China and Saudi Arabia. China and Saudi Arabia, which are now part of the BRICS nation, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, as the founding members of the BRICS community, which is an opposing community of financial connection, opposing the West, essentially, and the IMF, have now had a swap deal of approximately £7 billion. But to get away from the West, their de-dollarization program is moving forward. Therefore, they're using 50 billion yen or 26 billion reals. They will be able to use their own currency and not utilize the US dollar. This again will further weaken the US ability to cause financial harm and distress to countries that are in the second and third world. Moving to cryptocurrency, Binance. Binance, the head of Binance is under investigation. They're trying to throw him in jail. Binance company itself has been fined $4.1 billion, one of the largest fines in the world. It's the largest crypto fine in the world. For those who are not familiar with Binance, it's an exchange platform. It allows you to buy and sell cryptocurrency. This, I believe, is a push by the US government because the large banks and various large economic organizations want to roll out their own cryptocurrency, and so they want to control the market, which is very challenging. Binance is the largest exchange platform in the US. However, the US is small fry compared to the rest of the world. The biggest producer of cryptocurrency, certainly Bitcoin, is in China. Right. The next thing is about carbon footprint. 12 billionaires in the world generate the same amount of carbon footprint as 2.1 million households. The biggest culprit is Bill Gates, owner of Microsoft, and who likes to give people the jab. He himself, who is a computer nerd, who knows nothing about medical information, is pushing forward the jab for COVID, and was making a very large amount of money from the sales of the jab. Jeff Bezos, which is the head of Amazon, and Elon Musk, which has various different businesses, cars, rocket ships, and the like, and also owns X, or it used to be Twitter. United Nations World Health Organization. The United Nations World Health Organization has declared a new pandemic of loneliness and is telling people across the planet to go into the cities and move into small square boxes so they're next to each other and not be lonely. This seems somewhat strange for the UN to say this, and their claims are then you can all be within 15 minutes of each other, and this is a big push for the 2030 15-minute cities agenda. It's rather silly. Those who are living in the countryside, let them live in the countryside. Maybe they don't want to be in the city. And those in the city who are in the city, who like the city, good for them. We're moving on to Russia and NATO documentation. So NATO has pulled out of the Treaty of Conventional Forces, Europe, and having removed their signature, Russia has now done the same. This limits the number of troops within the European region. As this has now been withdrawn by NATO, initially first, and then secondly by Russia, Russia is now going to increase their manpower in their standing army by 170,000. The current manpower is 1.3 million, so they will have quite a bit of bite. Moving on to Israeli industrial equipment. Israeli industrial equipment from the Ultra Unitronic company. They developed a PLC, a programmable logical controller, which essentially is an industrial computer, which is their Vision series. This particular computer is the most prolific even computer utilized in the water plant industry for taking dirty water and making it clean so it's drinkable. These PLCs from Ultra Unitronic are used everywhere across the planet, and a Russian hacking group which has stated they want to harm Israel due to the indiscriminate killing of Palestinians. Some 20,000 plus Palestinians have died now, and over 100,000 plus have been injured, and tens of thousands of houses have been damaged or destroyed or uninhabitable. And so this Russian hacking group has been attacking these PLCs, and it took down the water system in one area of Southern Ireland, and it took down the water system in two areas in two different, I think one of them might have been Michigan, but in two different districts in the United States. I think these were precursors to show their capability, and then their ability, having been proved correct, will then harm larger scale water treatment plants in the US and across the world. Going back to Southern Ireland in the area of Galway, a absolutely beautiful hotel called the Ross Lake House Hotel, built in 1850, which sits on 5 acres of land, has officially 13 rooms, was being converted to take 70 illegal migrants and be converted into an asylum centre. The local people protested and protested. They weren't actually consulted. It just was made aware in the chambers of the local council this was happening, and eventually the local people went and set fire to the hotel itself. Currently, the police are trying to understand how the fire took place, but it is highly likely local people set it on fire because they didn't want military-aged men moving into the area. It should be noted that there are many different asylum centers or hotels used for illegal immigrants, not just in Ireland but also in the UK. In the UK, there are 64,000 illegal immigrants living in 4-star hotels at a cost of £1.4 billion. There's one in the village of Epping, just outside Greater London, and the crime rate has gone up, the petty pilfering has gone up, the level of unsociable behaviour has gone up. And when Essex police is called, they pick them up and take them back to the actual hotel and drop them off. They never get arrested. The local school has advised parents that children, say female children, young girls, must never walk to school. They must have in attendance an adult who escorts them. This is an absolute disgrace. Finland has signed up an agreement with NATO. They're not a full member, but they have signed up to an agreement They've closed all their borders with Russia, and the 15 bases nearest to the Russian border have now been handed over to NATO, and they'll have NATO men and equipment and sensoring equipment. This may include radar and radio type equipment. There's also talk about putting nuclear weapons on there. It's highly unlikely this will happen. This will be an absolute bridge too far. Moving on to Iran. Iran has conscripted 33,000 civilian vessels. What they've stated is that the vessels and the crew will be carrying weapons or retrofitted to fire weapons. This is to potentially push back against the US strike group, which is posturing for war. Over 50% of all the naval fleet of the US is now within 7-day sailing of Iran. So Iran is taking this quite seriously. They've also placed radar across the coast of the coast, and that has no black spots. So anywhere where a ship appears, it's getting hit by radar, and it's being checked for civilian or military, US or otherwise. Also, it should be noted that there are autonomous submarines which sit on the bottom of the ocean, just outside coastal waters, listening using sonar. If they hear the signature of foreign ships, especially warships, they will float up towards the ship, and then in the last moment of floating up, they'll fire their engine and their motor, more precisely, and propel themselves and destroy the ships. The systems are autonomous, and they are listening out mainly for aircraft carriers and frigates. It should be noted the US also is aware of this because they saw the sales take place from Russia. These equipment are very highly maneuverable and very highly agile and fast, but very difficult to detect using their own sonar and countermeasures. Talking about Ukraine and Russia. The Ukraine-Russia war is now winding down. The US can't afford to keep on funding the Ukrainian war. The UK has funded £9.2 billion so far, and a large swath of the UK weapons, the latest anti-tank weapons, have now gone onto the black market and being sold for $50,000 US, and they've appeared in North Africa with various warlords fighting the French. They've also appeared in Mexico fighting the US Drug Enforcement Agency, and they're rather effective. Moving on to shipping. In the area of Yemen, the Yemenese government has stated they will not allow any ship which assists directly or indirectly Israel, because they're unhappy with the 20,000 Palestinians that have been killed and the 100,000 plus that have been injured. And so they've been shooting at ships with cruise missiles and setting them ablaze and blowing them up. So ships are now going around, way round, long route round, not passing Yemen. And this has increased the cost by some 400%. And this will also, this is currently for cargo. Oil tankers are also doing the same. So the cost of oil will go up, and so inflation globally will go up. However, Iran and Russia have a agreement, because they're a BRICS nation country, and Yemen would like to join BRICS, that they have a freedom to pass without being shot at. Currently, Iranian and Russian oil is passing through the straits near Yemen with no ill health effects. Moving back to the US, Trump has been banned from elections in one of the states. And in the state he was banned, he's now appealing to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will overturn this because it's a nonsense. You can't turn around and ban somebody from the general election just because you don't like them, and claiming that he was heading up some sort of insurrection. As we're all aware, he never ran a movement. He never ordered anyone to do anything bad. But people are pointing the finger. Right, I have nothing further to raise as issues. If there's any comments, I'll happily answer them now. If not, I will call it a day. Let's have a look. Comments. There are no comments. Right. What I will say to everyone is Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And don't forget to wear your own Santa's hat and eat pies, eat trifle, some turkey, enjoy your family. You never know what will happen in the future. 2024 is going to be very challenging. I believe we're going to go from our recession to a depression. There'll be a crash, some part in March, maybe April. There'll be a housing crash, a banking crash, and 6 to 8 weeks later, the US will pull down because we're the largest investors in the US, and so we will pull them down 6 to 8 weeks after that. So it leaves me to say Merry Christmas, like, subscribe, and share. Now on Rumble.